2, 1. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Episode 56 of White Claw Wednesdays. Nice crack, dude.
Thank you.
Hold up. I got to get mine. Oh.
Okay. Digital cheers.
Digital cheers, as always.
Oh, yeah. Refreshing.
Dude, I put
As
mine in
per
the
usual.
freezer before this.
Ooh, okay.
It's hot here. I was just telling Frank, I'm literally sweating. My lips are sweating because it's so hot right now. I had a cooling fan on behind me, guys, and, you know, because the audio needs to be perfect, I had to shut it off or else the mic was picking it up. But you may hear some birds because I do have the window open. So, yeah.
You know you're in a hot area when your lips start to sweat. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the one part of your body where it's sort of like, oh wow, I didn't even know I sweat here. You know, the first, because I remember the first time I got the lip sweat, and
Yeah.
that was probably when I was in Sycamore. No, not Sycamore, Mount Rubidoux. I was in Mount Rubidoux, and I was pulling weeds as a Boy Scout. I'm in maybe 4th grade, and the sun is just beating down on me. And I got the lip. That's when the lip sweat came in, I think. Yeah,
I can remember one other time where I had the lip sweat, and that was when I went to Nicaragua for the Global Brigades.
Oh yeah.
And we had one day where it wasn't like a medical day. It was like we were doing like dirty work. And so we went out into like the cuts, like literally just like this mountain range. And we were digging a pipeline for like clean water. And oh my God, I have never sweat so much in my life. So much fun though. So much fun.
Yeah, that sounds like that trip looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great, man. Yeah, if anyone's going through college right now, look into, Global Brigades. And, you fundraise money to, get your ticket over there. And then also you're fundraising for the medical supplies and, food and everything that you're bringing over there. And, it's so much fun. So much fun.
Did
And
you
go ahead.
Did you feel like you accomplished something big?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really rewarding experience,
Mm-hmm.
and it puts a lot into perspective, I mean, I would never say that I understand what those people go through, but, it helps me try and understand,
Yeah.
And, you get off the airplane and you're in this bus and you're going out of the city and you just see people, whole families living in little sheet metal, plastic bag, homes, and it's surreal.
Uh-huh.
It really is surreal, and I love talking about it because it brings back a lot of those memories,
Yeah.
and all that stuff you got to keep reminding yourself of because, you get caught up in all the money and stuff here and the simplicity of it all,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you just want more, but like it's so stupid, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet the reason why you're talking about how you like to talk about it because it like keeps the memory fresh.
Yeah.
I think that I see that that's the way to remember, things from your life is to continuously go over them in your head over and over again. And I think that's a main reason why often people can't forget certain things or, because they every day like they're going over it again in their head.
Mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm.
also that's why people forget things, because it's like I could remember an event and you could forget it, and it's because it meant a certain different thing to me, so I kept repeating it over and over again in my head and thinking about it.
Yeah.
I always like to think that I have a good memory, but there are
You
plenty
do have
of
a really good
things-
memory. That's a
yeah,
fact.
there are plenty of things I've forgotten, and it's just because I haven't, gone over them. It's like studying for anything. You just got to go over stuff to get it locked down.
You know what's weird about like forgetting something
Yeah,
is you can forget about it for years
and pull it back
then
out.
Something just triggers it.
Yeah.
Some neuron just gets a little bit of that electricity or whatever kicks in, and it's
Oh, yeah.
ping, and you're like, whoa, I haven't thought about this in
Yeah.
a decade or whatever. And I mean,
yeah.
the human brain is really, really interesting in that way. Have you heard that when you have a memory, right?
Uh-huh.
And you are remembering this memory over time throughout your life. You can think of any of the iconic memories that you have, that you think about, regularly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that people are, is it theorizing? Is that a word? Hypothesizing? I mean, it's a theory, right?
Yeah.
The theory is that you're remembering it different every single time. And so by the time, you're 50 or you're 60, right? You're remembering something as a fact, as like, oh, this is my memory, but actually it's not quite what actually happened, because you remembering it different every single time because you're trying to put pieces together. You heard that before?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, though. I kind of like always sort of watch for that when I tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I've told stories where it's like the third or fourth time I've told the story. And I'm like halfway into the story, and then I reach a detail, and it's like, whoa, I just added that in. Like it's and I kind of realize it too late.
Yeah, yeah.
So and I'm moving forward in the conversation, so I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
rewind back and figure out where I messed up. I just kind of keep going. But it's like sometimes I do that where I'm like, oh, I kind of added a little bit there that wasn't true. Whoops.
Yeah, and then you just roll with it, and that
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
And then you remember it that way from then point on.
The next
right?
time.
Like you just
Yeah.
keep adding on
Exactly.
puzzle pieces that don't fit, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really interesting concept. And I'm glad, to go back a little bit. I'm glad that we brought up the whole Nicaragua thing in my experience there, because I was literally thinking, like, right before this that I was going to complain about losing my AirPods, because I totally lost them and I don't know where they're at. And, I'm
so
frustrated.
Yeah.
But, like, it just puts it in perspective, and obviously I was going to,
yeah.
Mess around and be joking about it. But, the fact that I'm worried about losing my AirPods is it just puts it in perspective,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's funny that you say you lost your AirPods today, because last week before we went to record, I was using, my Skull Candy earbuds. The first time we did this Skype setup when you were in Hawaii, and I lost those. They just disappeared. And it's so weird, because it's like, when you have something and it's in, you got like 5 places you have it. That you got 5 options, and you go through all the options. You're like, well, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I know I'd only put it in these places, and if it's not in these places, well, then I guess I'm just going to have to hope I stumble into it year.
That is a good strategy, You just, one day, you're just going to stumble over it, and you'll be like, man.
Yeah.
How did it get there,
How did it get here? And that's the worst thing about it is, that's my last pair of the little earpods that have the normal auxiliary end, because I still have my
worst, dude.
I have my pods that are like go with the iPhone that have the special plug-in.
Yeah.
But now the only headphone jack headphones I have are these Beats. So it's like, damn, it's just, But like you said, perspective.
Yeah.
And how can I complain about $15 earbuds when I have, more expensive headphones on my head right now? So it's just like, it's...
Dude, mine are legit falling apart, though. Okay. Also,
your Beats, yeah.
To your point, I have the Apple like official headphones, and they're my last like earbuds that have the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack.
Oh yeah.
Only one of the ears works, so I have the left side in my right as of now.
Okay.
And then these ones are completely falling apart. Like, literally. I could peel off of the little felt at this point.
Yeah.
It just means I use them all the time,
I also lost my little adapter thing. The adapter that plugs into the bottom of the iPhone.
I had one of those. Long gone. Long gone.
It's like, it was crazy because it was again, one of those moments where it was back when I was living at the Hamilton house. And I remember parking my car, and I get out of the car, and then I remember like, there would sometimes be times where I'd have my phone in my pocket when it was like plugged into the aux, and I would get out of the car without taking my phone out.
Yeah.
So I'd end up
You
yanking
just
off.
rip it. Yeah.
I'd end up yanking off the adapter from the aux, like attached to the phone. And I remember there was one night getting home from work where I did that, and I was just like, oh my God, it was just like one of those annoying things. So I just pulled off the adapter and I just threw it into like the center console of my car, and then close the door and then go to bed. Next morning, I'm out in my car and it's just gone. And I
squirrel, man. It had to be a squirrel.
I really tore through my car. I looked underneath the car, like on the cement. I moved the seats, moved the mats, all that stuff, and it just disappeared. And it's funny because that goes with the whole memory thing. Because there's got to be a memory that I lost where I put it and did something else with it.
Dude, that really reminds me. Should we tell the blunt story right now?
The blonde story. What's the blonde? I don't even know the blonde story.
The blunt.
Oh, the blunt story. Yeah, well, yeah, might as well. I mean, we were trying to it was a spliff. I mean, it was a swisher.
It was a spliff, that's right.
Swisher, we split it. We only had a little bit of weed left, so we put the tobacco swisher in it and we rolled it.
This was back in our heyday.
Yeah, this was back in the I don't even know what days to call it,
the stoner days, whatever.
Stoner days, high school days, whatever.
Yeah.
And Scott is giving me a hard time because I have a certain window to where we need to
execute.
Get this. We
are trying to execute on time.
Yeah, we're trying to execute on time.
We got places to be.
Yeah, he's being all cute about like lighting it up and like he's playing hide and seek with it while we're driving to the spot.
Yeah.
And then by the time we get to the spot, his game of hide and seek has become a game of, oh, I lost the blunt.
Literally.
Literally. And then we spend the next half an hour I have looking for it, and then you guys drop me off, and then you guys spend the rest of the 3 hours of the night looking for it, and you never find it, and then you can take it from there.
And so it was a story like, where did the blunt go? Where did it go? And then so that we were rolling it in my car, right? Like that, the situation happened in my car, and fast forward, a year and a half later, I'm driving through, my school, and I am about to clean out my car, and I shift the seat all the way forward, and then I just see a little blunt just fall right out of some weird crevice that was under the chair, and man, was that a proud moment of mine.
Mm-hmm.
That was
we have
crazy.
It framed.
And now we have it framed. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Because
it's solid 5 story right there.
Yeah. And what was that? It was, I think, 3 years it was gone.
I don't know how long it was. It was a long time. I think it was at least 2. At least.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3 years.
So I was driving around pre-legalization of medical marijuana with
pre-recreational legalization, right. Yeah.
With a spliff in my car.
Yeah, exactly.
For years.
Just at all times. It might have been
That's
so
crazy.
hidden that even a dog couldn't find it.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I never went through one of those checkpoints, Just
That's true.
That could have been crazy, And then
that would have been
find
funny.
it. They find it and they're like, "What are you doing with this?" I'm like, "Honestly, sir,
honestly,
that's been there
we hit everything
years.
else on our persons right now. Like we're the one who it's not supposed to be in the car."
Oh man, wouldn't that be a funny story too?
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Busted by accident.
Enough headphone and
enough reminiscing.
Story. So I got a couple things to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about just with this whole. I have never felt more like interested and not interested in something at the same time than with this whole stock thing that's going on. Like,
dude, I'm glad you brought that up, man.
I am in both lanes so heavy that it's like I'm interested in it, but then it's like, Frank, you gonna buy any? I'm like, oh no, I'm not interested.
Yeah. So what do you know? Explain your premise. Are you like in or out?
Oh, I'm out. I'm so on the outer of this situation that all I know about it is I got some headlines. Okay.
Yeah.
My headlines are, GameStop. GameStop is soaring to the moon. GameStop to the moon. Hold the line. Robin Hood are crooks. Like, these are just the headline things I know, but it's like I don't know what they mean at all.
That is hilarious, man. All right, so I'm gonna give a very underqualified explanation of it. Okay, so hedge funds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big, wealthy investment firms that, manipulate the market and get a ton of money for more rich people. They bet, essentially, or they shorted, okay? And what shorting is essentially selling a stock that you don't own. So it's like you're borrowing a stock and you're immediately selling it, okay?
See, right there,
it doesn't make sense.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but as soon as you say that, it's like, okay, well, I get it, but I don't get it.
No, because you're really not supposed to get it because it doesn't make sense, right? So you're borrowing a stock and you're immediately selling it for the current stock price, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you pick up the liability of, okay, hey, I now have to purchase one stock in the future, right? And so it's called short selling because you're basically betting on or speculating that the stock price is going to go down. So you're borrowing a stock, selling it at a higher price, and then on the contingency that you need to purchase one in the future. So you're betting on the price going down, right? And what these hedge funds did is they short sold. Yeah, they basically over shorted. And so I don't know how this happens. I really don't. But apparently there's not enough current volume, meaning there's not enough current stocks available to allow the hedge funds to buy back all the short selling that they did. Does that make sense?
There's not enough.
There's not enough current current stocks available to buy back all of the borrowed shares that these hedge funds already sold.
So basically, they borrowed
way too much
than they could give back, in a way.
They borrowed way too much than that is available currently.
Okay.
So
if I had if I had a shipment of 10 oranges coming in, 10 of the rarest oranges that gave you superpowers, but you had 11 of those oranges, and I borrowed all 11 from you, and I was like, I got you, Ryan, I'll pay you back, and then my 10 comes in, and I'm like, I can't pay him back. Is that kind of what's happening?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I mean,
yeah. Rare oranges that give you superpowers. Oh, yeah. They're a thing.
So basically they were betting on the ultimate plan was to sell a bunch of borrowed stock, right? And so they already get that money immediately. And they were betting on GameStop declaring bankruptcy. And if you declare bankruptcy, that means that the company, your stocks are worthless, right?
Yeah.
So if you declare bankruptcy and they've already short sold a bunch of stocks, they've already gotten that money. Now they don't need to even buy them back because they're worth nothing, right? I mean, there might be some bureaucratic
that's
stuff
the scenario. Like, going bankrupt is like you dying in my oranges scenario, you know? So you've given me the 11. You've let me borrow the 11 superpower oranges when I have my shipment of 10 coming in.
Oh, yeah. It is like me dying.
The day before my shipment of 10 comes in, you drop dead.
Yes.
And suddenly I have 21 superpower oranges.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, completely correct. And so some, Wall Street Bets, the subreddit, basically picked up on this and was like, they have already, borrowed and sold more than that's available. And if we buy into GameStop, if we keep buying and we buy as much as we can, right? Because there's always an influx of selling and buying. If we buy as much as we can, we're going to screw over the hedge funds because they won't be able to buy back all of that they owe, right? And also, by buying so much, the price is going up, right? And so hedge funds probably sold, right? As an example, hedge funds borrowed and sold stocks at $12 a stock, right? Now their price is at $300 right? So for each stock that they borrowed and sold, betting on GameStop going bankrupt, now they have to purchase a $300 stock, right? And we're talking tens of thousands of stocks they're short selling, right? I don't even know the numbers.
Wow.
Yeah. Did I explain that well?
I think you did, yeah. I think
So
you did.
that is what's currently happening. And so the internet is really going against the establishment at this point. And it's...
and it seems like the establishment is trying to scare the general public by saying, "Oh, this is going to end badly."
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's essentially...
Don't do this.
And they're so stupid because, you don't mess with the internet by trying to manipulate them, Like, it's so dumb. So
Yeah,
what
the internet
Robinhood-
really can change things. Like we've seen that in the last 10 years, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this seems like to be the first time in my recent memory where the internet is changing something that has to do with a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of super rich and these are billionaires we're talking, right?
I mean, yeah.
Who are
absolutely.
potentially getting,
They have
screwed
multiple
by the
boats.
little man?
Let's just put it that way. Multiple yachts.
Okay, multiple yachts, yeah.
So it really is a battle in terms of the internet versus the establishment, right? So what you're seeing first is that the Robinhood app. So for those of you that are not involved, I'm going to try and just keep going on this. So the Robinhood app basically made a lot of its money not only by selling or providing a brokerage, right, which allowed you to trade stocks, me to trade stocks, whoever downloaded the app could trade stocks.
Mm-hmm.
They made money by that, but they also made money by selling user data to hedge funds. And okay, so picture that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Robinhood collects all this data of the user, sells that data to hedge funds saying, hey, this is what people are doing. Hedge funds can now use that data to basically screw over them or follow trends, whatever. So GME starts going up, right? People are buying heavily, and the internet takes over. Robinhood stops trading of that. They don't allow trading of GME. They also blocked some other symbols, ticker symbols, I think is what they're called.
And doesn't that go to show you that the billionaire hedge fund people are controlling Robinhood?
And that's exactly what people are theorizing, right? And that's
which
why
is cheating
there's
in a way.
Oh, it's market manipulation. I mean, you're not allowing a ton of people, and Robinhood's not the only brokerage that did this, right? So you're not allowing, retail investors, which is you and me, to buy a ticket, right? And
okay,
for whatever reason it is, I mean, that's an issue, right? It's not like the system was down. They just limited people from buying it, either limited or stopped them, completely.
Yeah.
And so what that allowed was, the hedge funds to sort of buy back as much as they can while other people aren't buying to limit the loss.
Oh, limit the loss. So all the hedge fund billionaires are scrambling right now to limit the loss.
Yeah, I mean, they've already lost, some numbers have come out, but I think it's like 50 billion. Something crazy, dude.
Wow.
I know.
Oh my God.
Isn't that insane?
So, as an average Joe, how do you screw something like this up? If an idiot is falling from his mom's basement or something, I don't know, and he's never done anything let's just say me, if
how do you
I
lose
tried
money?
to,
Is that
if
what you're
I
saying
tried
by
to
screw
go
this
on,
up?
basically if I tried to go on my computer right now and go on Robinhood or TD Ameritrade or whatever the hell, and I started to try to get in this stock game, which is kind of going into it. How do I screw myself?
Well, time will tell. I mean, if what I did was I bought one GME.
Okay.
So I bought stock. But time will tell. I mean, everything is speculation, right? Like the internet thinks it knows everything, right? And
Yeah.
I'm hopping on the trend. I'm ready to lose all my invested, right?
Okay. So that would be how I would screw it up, is to hop on and say, oh, this is going to the moon, and I just put all my money into GME. Would that be the way to like really just...
Well, that is
because there's
not good
potential that I
investing
don't
yet.
get anything out of it, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there is
Yeah.
potential. Yeah, for
So,
sure.
because what you have bought, you are
Mhm.
saying you are putting it out there for the chance of potentially losing it all.
I mean, the internet is hopping on this sort of like get rich quick, sort of like we're going to screw over
Yeah.
the hedge funds, you know,
And that's
this
what
and
I-
that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, me personally, I know my own... I have a certain amount of self-awareness, and I know what I'm capable of. And I know I'm more than likely to get either frustrated or to lose money if I tried to dive into this game. Because I know it's not something that is as simple as it may appear from the outside, not knowing anything, and you're just hearing people talk about how they're making all this bank off doing all this stuff that you don't understand, and then you try to do it, and then you basically screw yourself.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, people have made millions and millions of dollars over this situation, right? I mean, average day people.
Yeah.
But now if you're trying to get in, you can, but you just got to be willing. You got to understand that you don't know anything. Like, I don't know anything, man. They're talking about short selling, and they're talking about a short squeeze, and they're talking about, oh, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying. Like, I understand they bought too much. They need to buy, right? And so when they buy, because they have to buy, right? These hedge funds have to buy. There's an expiration date when you short sell, and you have to buy. When they're going to buy everything back, it's going to go up, right? Because there's just a ton of buying happening. I think. See, I don't even, like, that is hazy with me. Basically, there's going to be a short squeeze, is what the internet is saying, and the stock price is going to go up. And when it goes up, you need to sell. That's what the internet is telling me. And what hedge funds are telling me to do is invest in silver, which is just completely opposite, and they're trying to promote something.
Sam says that's
different.
a scam. Sam told me that whole silver thing is the hedge funders. He says it's the billionaires, all people with the money. They're making these bot accounts on the internet, these bot fake Reddit accounts that are trying to start these threads of, oh, buy this, short this, do this, and And today I learned from Sam, it's like you can invest in material too. Like, I didn't know that was a thing.
Gold?
Well, I didn't know. I knew the whole idea of the stock market was companies investing in stocks and companies, but I didn't know you could invest in material items.
Well, you know about
like silver and gold
items as well, like cryptos, right?
You mean like Bitcoin and stuff?
Like Bitcoin. Yeah, like Bitcoin.
I mean, I don't know anything about that, except that I did hear about, this is a few weeks ago, you might have heard about this, but I heard about some guy who had millions of dollars in Bitcoin, and he only had one more password guess on his account. Because it was something to do with, he has this account for X amount of years, and he builds up all this money, and then it's like, oh, shit, time to log into my account. I can't remember my password.
Like, he bought it when he was like 12, and now he's 30 or something like that.
Yeah, and it's some sort of, I don't know anything about Bitcoin, so I don't know if every account comes with this, but his account has some sort of fail-safe to where if you mess up the password more than 3 times in a row, your account gets wiped and deleted.
God.
So he was down to one guess. I never checked in with, whether he took that guess or not, or he's still sitting on that guess.
I didn't even hear about that story.
That's a
So
lot of
scary.
pressure. That's a lot of pressure. I mean, you got to come up with, you know what I would do? I'd start pulling people from every, well, oh God, it's tough. You pull people from every, area of your life, and you sit them together, and you have a group.
It's like an intervention almost.
Yeah, you have like a group work intervention type of thing where they're all throwing ideas at you of passwords. Like, they're saying, like, I know this about you. Like, I know this means a lot to you. Like, was this a password? Like, I know you loved Eagles when you were in 2nd grade. So is your password bald eagle? It's a terrible idea, but I mean, it's all based off how much does he know? Like, how close is he to knowing that Because is it like I don't know if it's a number 1 or a number 2 at the end?
I think
or is
this
it like,
is.
I don't know if it's a capital E, or does he have no idea at all?
That's true.
If he has no idea at all, he wants to do his group.
That's true.
Group session.
That's true. For like me, like when I have a password that I don't know, I've always like entered it in, and then it's like, oh, your account is locked. Like, please reset your password. And I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And then I find out that my password was just like an extra dash, or like it was the different number. I'm like, I knew I was close, man.
I've had times like that where I get what my password was, and I'm like, wait, I could have sworn I put that in.
Yeah.
It's like I've tried so many things at that point that it's like I thought I did that, but I'm not even sure.
You're questioning. You're like, what is this with this website, man? I totally entered that.
I totally did that one. Now you're making me change it for no reason.
Man. But yeah, so the whole Wall Street bets thing. Back to the whole silver thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sam was saying that it's all a scam, right? And it really is. Like all these news agencies and all these like websites, the Wall Street Journal, blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah.
They're all in cahoots or whatever. I don't know. They're buddies with the hedge funds, right?
Yeah, the big news corporations.
The big news corporations, right?
Yeah.
And so they're putting out media that says that Reddit is moving in on silver now. They've traversed positions, and it's like I'm on the Reddit, at least twice a day, and nobody is talking about silver. Like nobody is talking about silver, man. And in fact, any post that is talking about silver is like F you to CNN because they said this, or like CNBC is talking out of their ass, like something like that,
Yeah.
saying that they're all talking about silver. Like it's crazy, man. It's
You know
crazy.
what that might be?
What?
That might be trying to cover as much ground as you can in terms of making like stopping the bleeding almost.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, because they think, okay, so you have all these young 20 and 30 somethings.
Hold up.
Oh yeah, get it. There we
Go ahead.
You have all these young 20s and 30 somethings who are doing this stock day trading, trying to get rich quick, basically.
Yeah.
And they're getting good at it just because of this whole Reddit trend that has started.
Yeah,
and they see that and they think to themselves, okay, so the word is spreading. The word's going to spread. It's going to spread to people who don't use Reddit. These 20s and 30-somethings, they're going to talk to their parents about this. And some of their parents are going to be interested in doing the same things that they're doing.
Yeah.
But they're not going to like go to Reddit for consultation. They're going to turn on their cable TV and go to the news channel and try to, get new facts like, oh, wow, the stock market's the place to be now. Let me turn on the TV and figure out how to handle that.
Yeah.
And then they click on CNBC and they're being told to, short silver or whatever. And so that's what I see that as. They're trying to like make up ground off the people who aren't smart enough to figure out that, it's bullshit to follow that whole silver trail pretty much.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, they're just trying to make ground up, They're like, okay, what do we have, invested in? All right, we have a lot in silver. Okay, hey, buddy, I manage all your money, and you're in charge of this company. You need to put this on air. Boom.
Exactly. Yeah,
Redditors,
like I pay your salary.
Silver. It's like, what? Like, where are you getting this from? I mean, I'm scrolling through the Reddit and then like nothing. Like you have to sort by like new, It might even just be bullshit. Like there might be absolutely like no claim of a Reddit user even posting stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, that is like the crazy situation that's happening right now, and the internet, whether it's social media, Reddit, pretty much everyone is on board. I mean, the government is on board, I mean, you follow Barstool Sports president. What's his name? David?
Oh, yeah, Dave Portnoy, dude.
Dave Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy, he's been on the
awesome.
train of Robin Hood people need to be thrown in jail.
Well,
that's what he's been. He's been like, anybody who's working for Robin Hood, they should be in prison. That's what he's been saying.
Yeah.
And I love Dave because he gets he's one of those guys that when he gets mad, it's pretty funny, and it's pretty entertaining. Like when he gets frustrated with things.
Yeah.
And I see that often because sometimes I watch his thoughts on football and sports and stuff, and it's funny to see his reactions in the sports world and then compare it with the Wall Street, stock world, and he has the same anger face. It's the same face of frustration, which is pretty hilarious. But I love that idea of Robin Hood being
the exact opposite.
The exact opposite of its name.
Well, I mean, that's what they were doing, right? Like the company, to be fair, they built a great service that reaches pretty much everyone, with a phone. And it's easy to sign up. It's easy to, trade stocks. Yeah. And what they do is they credit your account. Like you can say, oh, like initiate this transfer of $200, right? And they'll credit your account before they even validate that, right? So that's something that's cool too. But, the underlying issue here is that they sell their user data to the rich and the wealthy, and the rich and the wealthy will do whatever they want with this data thinking, oh, there's a ton of people investing in this. We're going to, manipulate the market somehow. I mean, they Wall Street is so shady.
Yeah.
And by doing so, screw over their own customers,
Doesn't yeah, they're screwing over. Yeah, they're screwing over the regular people while helping the rich.
Exactly. And it's the irony of it. The irony of Robin Hood. I saw a meme going around that was saying or it was like a petition. It was like petition to change Robin Hood to robbing the hood.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Isn't that pretty good?
That's pretty good.
Who thought of that?
Yeah.
Nobel Peace Prize.
We needed to give someone credit for that joke. Well, Ryan, I got to talk to you about your final thoughts for the Super Bowl. Because because this episode is going to come out less than a week before the Super Bowl happens, and I would just love to get some predictions from you. I think the score is going to be 38-35 Buccaneers.
Ooh, that's bold.
I think they're going to be just trading touchdowns. They're just going to be trading blows. Boom, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. They're just going back and forth. And it's going to end up being Brady with the ball with a 35-35 ball game. And I'm predicting Brady gets them in field goal range. And Suck Up comes out for the Buccaneers and kicks the game-winning field goal.
Wow.
And I say that as a person who cannot stand the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay?
You that just jinxed yourself. How many times I gotta tell you this, dude?
Ryan, but I don't really believe in jinx in the sports world, Ryan.
Idiot.
I don't
They're
actually
gonna win now.
The Chiefs are probably gonna win. I mean, I just kicked you my dream scenario. Now here's my reality scenario. My reality scenario.
Man, you've been giving this some thought, huh?
Oh yeah, big time. My reality scenario is Chiefs 35, Buccaneers 17. Ouch.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Yeah. Ouch. And I say that from my realistic standpoint. Chiefs are rolling. They seem unstoppable, and they can score pretty much whenever they want. Tom Brady has never scored a first quarter touchdown in his Super Bowl career. So this is going to be his 10th Super Bowl. And that means he's been to 9 previous Super Bowls, and in those 9 previous Super Bowls, he hasn't been able to get a touchdown in the first quarter. And this being the first game that he plays against an offense as explosive and that can score as easily as the Kansas City Chiefs, I think that lacking in first quarter scoring is going to hurt him and leave him getting handled pretty well and the Chiefs, getting a dominant win. So I really just set myself up for greatness because I predicted 2 outcomes. So I have a good chance of landing one
it's a
right.
win-win, really.
Yeah.
Did you DraftKings that? You placed bets, right?
No, I don't do that. I'm the same way with. I have so much passion when it comes to sports. I don't need to put any money on it. A lot of people, I think the reason why they put money on games is because they see a game and it's like, who the hell are these 2 teams and why do I care about either team? Oh wait, now I care about this team because I put $100 on it. It's like suddenly I'm into the game.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like I don't need that. Like I have specific reasons to root for or against pretty much every professional football or
mhm.
basketball team. So I never really have the whole betting thing. I've done one season of fantasy basketball and one season of fantasy football, and I wasn't about either of them because I just lost money and I wasn't able to win because I wasn't into it enough to like always be setting my lineups and be up on it.
I know, that's the worst, huh?
Because it's like I'm already entertained enough by what's actually going on that I don't need this second thing running, you know?
Yeah, I get you. All right. Well, you put a lot of thought into your predictions, and you got 2.
I do.
Here's mine off the top of my head. No thought. Buccaneers 23, Chiefs 29. I don't even know if those scores are even plausible, you know?
Oh, they're possible, yeah.
I mean, of course they're possible because there's 1, 2, 3, and 9 or 6. But
yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 6. Exactly. You got it exactly right.
Oh, well, thanks, Ryan. Thank you.
That's the amount of points you can score right there. Those are the numbers.
Wow, Ryan, you know all the type of points you can score. Good job.
That's the ultimate trick question of football rules is, hey, how much points do you get for a touchdown? And if they say 7, you know you're like, oof, man, I'm going to be answering a lot of questions during this game.
Yeah. Dude, but honestly, I mean, you probably hate watching football with me because I'm always asking questions like that. Honestly,
I'll be honest
even
with
basketball too. Like sometimes something will be called and they'll be like, "But why?" You know, like I know a lot of the rules, but like I don't know why the rules are in place. If that makes sense.
You and Sam love to do that.
Okay, but Sam's way
But
worse.
Sam is way. That's what I was just about to say. It's like you saying that it's probably annoying watching games with you. It's not because like I have Sam to compare it to. I mean, I'll watch it. I love watching games with Sam, but there is that part of like it's pretty funny the questions he asks, and he'll ask me questions that make me feel like I don't even know the game I'm watching. Like suddenly I'm like, oh wow, now I'm not a fan because like I don't even know this rule, and he's asking me these detailed questions, and I'm like, I can't, I don't know, dude. Oh.
That's hilarious, man. And you know what's so funny is I already forgot my prediction, so I'm gonna have to rewatch this to see if I was right.
Dude, I already got you locked in.
What am I at?
Chiefs 29, Buccaneers 23.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No,
I like that.
You, dude.
I like that.
That's a good prediction.
I do feel like there's gonna be plenty of touchdowns. You know.
I think there's gonna be.
What was that year? It was like Falcons versus Patriots. I think it was.
The Falcons versus Patriots, where the Falcons had the 28. They were up 28-3 in the third quarter, and the Patriots came back and won.
Was that the game? What was the Super Bowl?
that was a high scoring football game for sure. I mean, it was high scoring in the way where one team scored a bunch of points and then the other team scored a bunch of points and won. But that's a good one when thinking about high scoring games.
There was a Super Bowl that was literally, it was like one touchdown and a field goal won the game.
Dude, I know the one. That's a recent one. That was my 21st birthday. That was the Los Angeles Rams versus the New England Patriots.
There you go.
That was the Super Bowl that occurred in 2019, and it was the 6th Super Bowl that Tom Brady won. Last one he won. That was the final score in that game, 13-3. The Rams couldn't even score a touchdown. And speaking about the Rams, the Rams have finally parted ways with Jared Goff. They traded Jared Goff to the Detroit Lions, and they received Matthew Stafford.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford has been the star of Detroit for pretty much the first, 8 or some odd years of his career. He's 32 now, I think. And his career's pretty much been wasted in Detroit. If you ever see Matthew Stafford highlights, you see like, oh my God, this guy's really good. He's on a terrible team, so he just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But now that he's on the Rams, great defense, I think the Rams become contenders. The Detroit receives Jared Goff, questionable, and you see him as questionable because the Rams wanted to get rid of him so bad that they gave up 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick.
Yeah.
So they gave up 3 picks and their quarterback for 1 quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's older than the guy they're giving up. So it just goes to show you that whole 3 points scored in the Super Bowl really ruined the relationship between Goff and the Rams. And now he's going to be in Detroit. And, I would love to see him just rise to stardom there and bring that team up from the ashes because they're one of 2 teams in the NFL to go 0-16, them and the Browns. And they've had 1 playoff win, I think, in the last 50 years or something. They've been stinking worse than the Chargers, and that's saying something. So I'd love to see Jared Goff turn it around, but I just see him going there to suffer, you know?
I mean, he's young, right? Like he's young.
He's young.
So he's got
still
a lot
young.
of potential. He's got, he might be a franchise player, so he's got years to fix it.
Exactly.
A lot of variables.
And Detroit Lions, they have a new head coach named Dan Campbell. And this guy, Ryan, he's intense. In his press conference, his opening press conference as coach, he started talking about how they're going to be the kind of team
you are right now, dude. I'm sitting here, I'm like crisscrossing my hands, and you're. Let's go, dude.
I'm in here. He's doing his press conference, and he's talking about how he's going to make the Lions the kind of football team that when they get hit in the mouth, they're going to get back up and just keep fighting. And then if you hit them in the mouth again, they're going to get back up again. But on this time, when they come back up, they're going to bite a kneecap off.
My God, he said
and then
that?
You hit him again. Yeah, this is actually what he's saying in the press conference.
This is like a direct quote.
This is a direct quote. He's talking about them getting knocked, almost direct quote, yeah. He's talking about them getting knocked down multiple times, and on the times they come back up, they're biting kneecaps off. That's how he's describing his energy.
Yeah, dude. I like that.
To the team.
I like that. You can only say that in football, I think. Maybe rugby.
Yeah. But
that shit does not, like, you can't imagine an NBA coach saying that. You're like, whoa, dude, relax.
But it's even kind of weird for, like, even football. Like, it's intense.
It is weird for football.
It's intense. But when you think about it in a literal sense, you're like, even taking football violence to the extreme doesn't constitute biting kneecaps. Because, first of all, your kneecaps have pants over them and pads over them. And second of all, you can't really get your teeth through your visor and face guard that's sticking in front of your helmet.
I mean, if you think about it literally, you're absolutely right.
But it's just funny that he went with that way of describing intensity.
I think it's a figure of speech, but I get you.
It is, but it's like, okay. Is there a figure of speech that relates a little bit better to the violence of football? Like, come on.
Or is biting kneecaps a strategy? Is that
I really hope I
name?
get to see like a Detroit Lions defensive player or something. They get a sack. And then they just get on, like they dive onto the grass and they just start pretending to bite kneecaps.
Yeah, something like that.
Just like moving around like a zombie, just chomp chomp chomp. You gotta embrace
around
that
like
energy.
a zombie. Yeah. Holy shit, that would be hilarious, man. Oh, please make it happen.
Yeah,
please make
exactly.
it happen.
Okay, Ryan, one last thing I want to talk about.
All right, let's do this.
Have you watched WandaVision yet?
I haven't, dude. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I apologize because I know I told you I was going to watch it, but I just started school.
Hey, you...
And I have not been able to watch anything.
Yeah, you got more... You got more responsibilities than me right now, that's for sure. I will say this, though.
I am sweating so much right now, dude. You do not understand.
It's okay, Ryan. We're almost there. We're at the finish line. I
want to talk about Oregon, too, so let's go.
Yeah, Oregon. Okay. Really quickly.
Yeah.
First 3 episodes, when you get to WandaVision, the first 3 episodes might kind of drag through them a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm promising you, once you get to episode 4, you're back into that whole, okay, this feels like the MCU.
Episode 4. All right.
And that's the episode that just came out. And you get more background about the snap and what happened with the people disappearing from Endgame. And you get more action and stuff. And it just feels more like... So I think they're kind of hitting their stride now in terms of the show.
So it's not even a full season. I thought it was a full season.
No, they're doing episodes every Friday.
Oh, nice.
So they're 4 episodes in right now. And I think it's going to be 9 episodes. Rumored to be a 10th. Not sure, but about halfway there right now, I think.
All right,
and
I'll try.
A big reveal just happened. So, but yeah, Oregon is now... You sent me that decriminalization of the drugs in Oregon. Oregon has now decriminalized everything.
Yeah, dude. So great transition there. Appreciate that. I saw something on Reddit today, and it was like Oregon decriminalizes all drugs. I mean, we're talking schedule, Tristan and Nick
through
are
whatever.
Be mad at me that I don't know what schedule
we don't.
it's called, but I think Schedule 1, right? Like it's the highest.
Oh, the Schedule 1 are are considered the most dangerous. Yeah.
There we go. It's like DEFCON, right?
Yeah.
You think DEFCON 5 is serious, but actually DEFCON 1 is what's like shit's hit the fan.
Exactly.
All right. Anyways, Yeah, dude, they did it, man, which is insane. Which is insane to me because I really didn't think that anyone would. So to give a little more detail, Oregon has decriminalized all drugs for minor possession. So, you get a certain amount of meth that you can carry on you on person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, let's say you're tweaking out and the cop comes up to you and he's like, "What the heck are you doing?" Well, now you get a fine, you get a citation, which is similar to like getting a ticket, which is it's non-criminal basically, which is
like a speeding
really
ticket.
Exactly. And the main part about it, and I don't know how they're going to implement it, and it's kind of vague as to how it's going to be done, but basically they say you could, be required to take a psychological evaluation or something like that. And from there, the focus would be on rehab rather than jail, right? And honestly, like, God, this is music to my ears, man. This really is music to my ears because
I agree.
As much as you might say, like, that is insane, now we're talking about non-criminal for every single drug. I mean, I could have, this is insane. I could have meth on me and just walk around.
Yeah.
And there would be, no punishment essentially, right? Like I'm allowed to have a certain amount on me,
It seems like the punishment in a way in what you're talking about, not that it's necessarily punishment, but I think it goes to the idea of why this is music to our ears, which is the fact that when you're dealing with drugs that ruin your life, like meth, there is the idea that the individual is hurting themselves and not others, and because of that, we should help them instead of, putting them through more hurt, basically.
Right. And
because they're already damaging their own lives, and we throw them in prison, and now their lives are even more damaged.
I mean, they're screwed, right? They're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So in a way, the punishment is the treatment. Like, you need help.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not really, I mean, I wouldn't even look at it as a punishment. I mean, if you're providing free rehab, I shouldn't say it's free, but I think it is. I think it's state run. So, and obviously, like, if someone is tripping balls and they do something criminal, then they'll be prosecuted as such. Like, you can't just, be on drugs and steal a car and be like, oh, like I was tripping, like that. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I just meant more like you're just kind of tweaking on the side of the road.
No,
and the cop pulls
and that
next
is,
to you. Yeah.
and that is, I don't know the figures, but I would say that's majority of my encounters with people that are tripping balls.
Yeah, they're never trying to attack you.
They're just, I mean, I don't know. They're just doing their own thing on the street.
They're just doing their own thing. Yeah, exactly.
But it's obnoxious, of course,
Oh, yeah.
And obviously no one wants to see that. And so this is just great. I really am happy because, as I was saying, you can say what you want. I mean, this is an insane, and this is, radical, quote unquote, a radical action to go from Schedule 1 to completely non-criminal.
Mm-hmm.
It is radical, but, we need radical changes. We need something to change. What we're doing currently, I think everyone can agree, is not, it's not working. It's not a solution. It's not part of any solution. I mean, it's ridiculous. And, maybe this is going to make it worse. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not supporting it 100%. I don't know if the when the data comes out, if it's going to look good or look bad.
Yeah,
but I'm glad someone's trying something else.
Exactly.
I'm just glad. I'm glad we're trying something else.
Because if this goes well, then it immediately sets an example for everybody else to follow in suit. And I remember an early episode of the podcast we talked about the idea of all drugs being legal.
Yeah, we talked about it
and what that would do, and like you said, it is amazing that it's happened in a place, because now we get to have them as Oregon, have them be kind of a guinea pig in a way.
They're at a test case, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The guinea pig. You're right.
See if it works.
Yeah. I mean, time will tell. It'll take a couple of years, maybe even more.
Yeah. Yeah, probably more.
And, there's always going to be that anecdotal evidence. You'll probably see an article online that says, oh, my God, I recovered, and oh, my God, this was so helpful. But, let's look at the data. That's my thing is, like, I don't want to get too, entwined in it emotionally. And so, if the data shows that it's working better, then I don't see why California shouldn't do it. I really don't, because we got a major problem here.
Yeah.
And even COVID made it 10 times worse. Not only is our incomes down and more people are on the streets, but in places like LA and in San Francisco, you got major encampments rolling up, and police are they got their hands tied behind their backs. So
yeah,
it's just it's toxic, man. I mean, what, like, we're the human race, and this is California, and we're supposed to be progressive, and we're supposed to be, loving everyone, and then we let people just sort of rot on the streets. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. So,
yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, we've had the attitude of kind of ignoring it, and I think, well, at least in California, just because of how bad it's gotten in the past few years. But I think if we look to Oregon, which I think we will, because we're nearby them, and we've always seemed to be friendly neighbors, or at least that's the way I feel. So yeah, I bet if things go well there, we'll follow suit.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not so much that, I mean, a lot of people ignore it, and it is sort of mainly what people do. But also, I mean, you got people that are like fighting for, overly fighting for their rights, and they have the right to do this and that, and it's crazy, man, this situation, because they're human. They are. You can't look at them any differently. I mean, we got to fix this. We got to do something, because we got to make changes, and we got to do it now. And I'm glad that Oregon is taking the step. I'm just, oh man, it just makes me feel so happy, dude. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It feel like I'm reading an article title from another dimension.
And I didn't even know this was on the ballot, which is crazy. I feel like it would have trickled through my, ads or whatever. Google probably would have told me, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to talk about it in front of my Google Home. Then I'll
exactly. Get the voice recorded. Yeah. Well, to positive change, I guess.
Wow. Perfect, man.
Yeah.
All right. Positive change, and let's go Buccaneers, huh?
Oh yeah. Everybody enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Continue to stay safe, and thanks for listening to episode 56 of White Claw Wednesday.
All right. Love y'all. Cheers up, Frank.
Cheers. Peace out, everybody.